Hey everybody, welcome back. Every video is a crazier ex.
How am I already blocked?
The only way I could be there was if I cleaned his whole house.
If you loved me, you would eat the skin off my chest. One time when I was taking a shower at my ex's house, I come out of the shower and I see him going through my phone, and I had no idea he even knew my passcode. So I'm like tripping out. He's tripping out because for the life of me, I could not be faithful to this man. I immediately lunge for the phone. He starts running. I'm chasing him around his apartment. The towel has fallen. He was very agitated, but I knew he hadn't gotten to the hard hitters yet because there was some crazy stuff on there, and his reaction was like upset, but not like flabbergasted. No one's ever had like a crazy or like physical like chase than like both of us. Like I wanted the phone so bad, he wanted the phone so bad. Somehow, because he was a grown man and bigger than me, he shoves me outside of his apartment. And mind you, he lives in like a huge doorman, Upper East Side, nice building, and it's like there's like 10 neighbors on each floor, so the hallway's not private. Shoves me outside, butt naked, everything out, hair dripping wet, and locks the door while he's inside with my phone. Obviously, I'm like banging on the door, tripping out. I'm like, let me inside, whatever. I was like butt naked in the hallway, and his neighbor comes out because she hears the commotion. And mind you, this bitch is like 80 years old, and she's like, what the hell is going on out here? And I was like, I don't know, like, and she was like, I'm gonna call the police. I was like, please do. Like, I'm not trying to stand here with like my out in the hall in this man's hallway of like a nice building. So he hears this and he's obviously embarrassed because he was like a professional, all this stuff. So he lets me back inside and I come back in and I'm like, listen, obviously we're done. Just give me the phone, let's part ways. Like I was such a little, I couldn't even apologize. I got the phone, I got some clothes on, I'm leaving, but I had left so much clothes and jewelry and makeup because we've been dating for like 8 months at his place, and he takes all of it and he had a balcony and he throws all my stuff off the balcony in the middle of like a huge massive rainstorm, mind you, and his balcony overlooks the front of the building where the doorman is, so all this stuff is like falling at the doorman's feet and we're like on the 10th floor. Like all this shit is like, doorman's probably wondering what the f- is going on. I go down there, I couldn't even be I literally just walk out, I hailed a cab, I saw all my clothes in a pile scattered in the wind on the street, and I was like, and I just left. If you were wondering what happened, we got back together a week later and dated for another 8 months.
For the life of me, I could not be faithful to his man.
For me. I mean, I'm not gonna say you deserved it, but you kinda did. You kinda did. So the way you started this story, I thought the crazy ex was actually gonna be the dude in this story, but no, I feel like it might be you. Y'all are equally crazy, okay? Fair reaction to him finding out that you weren't faithful though, after 8 months of dating. Fair. I'm not gonna lie. I'd probably do the same thing. I can't believe you guys got back together. Like, why? Why? Wait a second. That's not... Make it make sense. Make it make sense. It's because he didn't see the rest of what was on your phone. He only got the gist of it. And that was enough for him to throw you out in the hallway naked and throw all of your clothes all over the ground outside in a rainstorm. Oh God, there's a part 2. Honey, I need a part 2 because what happened in the second round of 8 months? Did you do it again? Did you do it again?
We got back together a week later and I realized I really loved him during that week and I made a huge effort to treat him better. He insisted on having my location. We got back together, but even with the location, like I would not be where I said I was sometimes. Like I'd be acting up a bit and he'd be like, well, why is your location here when you said you were going to dinner with the girls here? And I was like, I don't know, like glitches. And he would just like leave me. Just do this thing. I would like test him. I'd be like, if you love me, you would do this. And one time he was driving and I had a really bad sunburn on my chest and I was like, if you love me, you would eat the skin off my chest. And he was like, gobble, gobble. And I started peeling the skin off and feeding it to him while he's driving. And he was like, I love you so much. I was like feeding him the dead skin. I'm not proud of that behavior, but I'm proud that I like grew and treated the people I dated after him better. One of the main things was he said I had BPD and I was like, no, what the fuck, you're not a doctor. And then this is an email he sent me after we broke up the final.
Okay, we're gonna read it. So what's my point? I love you more than any girl I've ever dated. I feel closer to you than any girl I've ever dated. Buddy, there's plenty of other women out there that wouldn't cheat on you, I'm just saying. But essentially, I'm frightened of your instability and your values. In many ways, you are my dream girl and we had the best harmonimer of my life. But the stress of living on eggshells, trying to please you, and always wondering if you're keeping more secrets is just too much for me to handle long term. I remember Carolina made a comment about you always making your exes crazy, and that stuck with me. So we don't like listen to people when they warn us. We should maybe start. I know it's not pleasant to hear, but I legit worry that eventually you would make me crazy by accepting your version of things and being okay with your hot and cold behavior. So this is what you gotta do to get a man obsessed with you. You treat him like and cheat on him and make him walk on eggshells and give him the hot and cold. I actually kind of knew that already. What can I say? I'm not good at manipulating people. I have friends that are very good at the hot and cold. Like, we're talking, they will play games to the point where they have like anxiety attacks. Like, I have this friend who, like, in her single days, she's married now, but in her single days, if a guy did not get back to her in 20 minutes, she would double that time. So if it was 20 minutes, she would get back to him in 40. If he got back to her after 2 days, she would wait 4. These are the mind games that some people play. I'm not about that life. And actually, I think that she married someone who didn't really play those mind games. So I don't think that the mind games are the best way to go when it comes to actually meeting someone legit. I could be wrong. I don't know. Mike never played mind games with me. It was just kind of like we sat down and we're like, so are we like doing this? Or, okay, yeah, sure, yeah. Like, it was like a business meeting. Like, oh yes, I would love to work with you. Yes, yes, yes. Shall we sign a contract now?
Anyways,
I don't think you get how mean you can be at the drop of a hat. It's not something I want a lifetime of. I'm glad you realize that now, bestie. Sorry to keep mentioning that book and self-diagnosing, but it says the central irony of BPD is that people who suffer from it desperately want closeness and intimacy, but the things they do to get it often drive people away. Yeah, that would do it.
And then like a year later, I ended up getting diagnosed. And I feel like the diagnosis really helped me like work on myself and be a better person, like be loyal in the future.
Period.
'Cause
BPD.
one of the common signs, if you didn't know, of BPD is infidelity. I called my mom's boy because every time he got into a fight, he would run and tell his mom, this 35-year-old man, even if it was like a minor argument that we could have worked out ourselves.
I mean, I don't know. I call my mom when I fight with my fiance. I call her all the time. And then she says things like,
shut up, Charlotte. Suck it up.
deal with it. It's probably because you're kind of making him, or you made him somewhat crazy. And he wanted reassurance that he wasn't crazy. You kind of need an outside perspective because like when you're being gaslit and manipulated, it's really hard to tell at that moment. Like you can feel it, but because you love a person, it's very hard to be like, this feels wrong. But is it wrong? Yes. 1,000 times yes, it's wrong. Get out of that relationship. Get it to your head. You're being manipulated. This was very toxic, I'm not gonna lie. So you're the crazy ex. Got it. Let's not go after her, guys. Don't be sending nasty comments. This very well could be satire. Things my ex did, but I still stayed. Oh God, I hate these. But I still watch everyone.
Things my ex did, but I still stayed. There were times where he smelled so bad that I had to force him to shower and brush his teeth. It would make me pay for literally...
Side note, I have this theory, all right? I have a theory. You know pheromones? Like, I have a theory where if you meet someone that smells genuinely good to you, like their musk smells like good to you, that's a good sign that you have good like chemistry.
Okay.
Pheromones are a real thing. There's a lot that have to do with attraction. There's a lot of factors, but some of them are subconscious, okay? Some of them you can't really explain why you're attracted to a person. And I think that part of it is pheromones. So if a dude or a gal smells stanky to you, it's a sign that y'all are not meant to be together and that they also need to take a shower. But you know what I'm saying? If they don't smell good to you, like if you don't want to just eat them up, just jump in their skin. He's not the one, baby girl.
Literally everything and would ask me for money to buy me gifts. If
what?
I wanted to go over to his house, he would tell me that the only way I could be there was if I cleaned his whole house. I would literally have to sweep, mop, wash dishes, do the laundry, everything. He would threaten to break up with me if I didn't let him use my car because he didn't have one. And sometimes he would hide my car keys so that I couldn't go anywhere, which made me be late for either school or work. He was also a really bad driver, so one time when he borrowed my car, he hit a wall and then part of my bumper just came off. And I told my parents that it was me. He also forced me to stop talking to my friends, and then he would tell me to my face that they were so pretty and that he wished he could date them instead of me. He also refused to get a job, and he would wait all day outside of my job until my shift finished so that I could buy him stuff. He would also try to control what I wore and would get mad if my outfit was showing too much or if it was showing too little. He would always talk about how we should join the gym, and when we did, all he would do was either stare at other girls or talk about how much better they were than me. I'm not even kidding. There would be so many times when he would be like, go up to that girl and ask her what she does to work out so you can look like her. He would also ask me to write his essays, and when I would say no, he would say how stupid I was, and then he would talk about how he was gonna break up with me. He would always make plans with me and then would ditch me to go hang out with his friends. And the worst part about this was, let's say that we had planned to go golfing, he would ditch me and go golfing with his friends. He would also bring his dirty clothes to my house and make me do his laundry because he said that that was all I was good for.
No!
He would also constantly tell me all the things that I could do to make myself look hotter. Honestly, if any of you are dating a guy that does any of these things, you need to leave him. Like, I'm not even joking. Leave him now.
Thank you for the reminder, but I feel like that goes without saying, girl. Girl, come on. Come on. Really? I would have left after the smell, honestly. Come on. Like, come on. Everybody needs to like watch some YouTube videos on controlling behavior, on narcissism, sociopaths. Everybody needs to know what they're dealing with, okay? Because there are signs. There are definitely signs isolating you from your friends, kind of negging you and putting you down. Like, all of these things are clear signs that this person is someone you have to stay the fuck away from, for fuck's sakes. They're called red flags for a reason. And I say that with love. For the love of God, come on now. He's stanky and he don't brush his teeth. You're gorgeous and you don't, like, literally just be single. It's not that hard. Why do we live in a society where people are just so damn afraid to be alone? Yes, being alone is scary, but guess what? You all die alone. And I'd rather be alone than be with someone like that. At least you don't have to clean up after people, you know? At least you don't get manipulated when you do any damn thing that they don't like. If this is love, may it never locate me. It's not. It's not love. It's not. Just so we're clear, that's not what love is. The amount of red flags in this video, honestly, Jesus Christ. Get ready with me, story time. Almost fought my bro's ex. Ooh. Ooh. Give me the tea, girl.
Brother met this girl through a mutual friend, and honestly, when he told me that he was talking to a girl, I honestly was so happy for him, and I was so excited because growing up, I grew up with guys my entire life, so I was just so happy, other than my cousins and my girlfriends, to just have another girl in the circle. You know? I don't recall the day her and I officially met. All I do remember is just telling my brother, oh, she's really quiet, she seems pretty nice, but I can't really say much because I don't know her. So fast forward, they've been dating for months now, and I really don't know much about this girl. And obviously, if my brother's dating a girl, I just want to know what she's about. What's her intentions?
Listen, I have a theory, okay? You meet, like, your guy friend's girlfriend or your brother's girlfriend. It could go opposite as well, but they stay quiet because they're afraid of saying the wrong thing and showing you who they really are. Speaking from experience.
I just want to know. I remember one day I was like, oh, I just want to do my own research. So I went on Instagram trying to find her, and I just could not find her username. And so I went to one of my best friends and I was like, hey, can you search this username and tell me if it pops up? And she says, yes, I can see the account. And I was like, how am I already blocked? And I discovered that I was blocked on Instagram. My alerts were on high because I was like, yo, I don't even know you, you don't know me, and I'm already blocked. That's a red flag. I ended up keeping that information to myself because one thing about me is I'm not about to interfere in anybody's relationship. That is just not me. Let's call this girl Jackie. So Jackie and my brother one day came to the house, and I was in my room, so I didn't even know she was here. I guess that day they were just extra quiet or something. I remember I went downstairs, and usually I know that she is here when my brother's door is closed. I remember once she left, my brother comes up to me and he goes, you're effed up. And I was like, why? And she was like, oh, well, Jasmine is saying that it's of how you don't come downstairs to come and say hi to her. And I was like, excuse me? First of all, this is my house. You're coming into my house. You're the one that's supposed to say hi. And two, I'm not gonna look at my window and be like, oh my God, is Jasmine here? Is she coming? Let me go say hi. What? Because half the time he went to go pick her up. Like, her car was really never here. So at this point, I'm getting pressed because I didn't go say hi to a visitor who came into my home. You know me the head because honestly, I just knew that I wasn't in the wrong. Like, I would understand if like I came to your house and I didn't say hi. That's rude. But you're coming into my house, like, you're supposed to say hi. You're the guest. At this point, I was extremely upset, but I'm not a confrontational person. I don't like drama. I don't like any of that. So I kind of just kept my cool, but if anything, I was just resolving this issue with my brother because that's my brother, and I didn't really care about his girl like that because I don't know you. So I basically had a conversation with my brother, and I told him, I was like, I just find it weird how she has me blocked on social media and she doesn't even know who I am. And
Girl, I'm gonna need you to continue that. The audacity of being mad at you because you didn't go say hi in your house. Bestie. Seriously? I wouldn't want to go say hi to someone who had me blocked either. What the fuck? I wouldn't want someone in my house, let alone go and talk to them. F that. Listen, as someone who, you know, finds it kind of hard to like, you know, be introduced to like a new friend group and like a family and stuff like that. When you're dating someone new, you really got to make an effort. Like, you got to make an effort to make, you know, niceties with people. It's not that hard to make small talk. If you're too afraid to show people who you are, ask them about them. It's literally the perfect out to any. This is what I've learned, okay? I get nervous when I talk about myself, all right? I don't like talking about myself. So as a result, I ask them questions and I let them talk. This is in that book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, okay? If you don't know how to talk to people and you don't know how to make friends, you want to create business relationships, etc., read this book. It talks about letting people talk about themselves, all right? If you're not good at talking about yourself, ask them questions. And literally, they will automatically like you because you're curious about their life. People love talking about themselves unless they're me. They love it. It's just nice to be asked, okay? Speaking from experience, I've also dealt with, you know, friends, girlfriends who don't make an effort and they kind of like separate themselves. And it's just like, you know, especially if you're making the effort and they're not, it's kind of like already, you know, like there's an issue. There's an issue. All right, enough talking.
Why is Sharon talk so much?
Because I'm adding the transformative commentary. I am transforming the commentary. I'm not getting sued. You can skip past if you don't want to hear it.
I ended up telling my brother, I find it weird how it seems like she already has a problem with me, especially because she has me blocked on Instagram. And I care about social media, I don't, but like, why would I be blocked? Like, I just have questions. To this day, I don't know the reason, but I remember my brother was like, oh, I grabbed her phone and I blocked you from her account. And I was like, yo, what?
Why?
At this point, you're taking her side? Holy shit. At this point, I was extremely upset because like there's absolutely no way I'm about to lose my brother to this freaking girl. There's no way, because at this point there was just so many bad things about her that I was not allowed to let my brother, who's so sweet and loving, deal with this girl. There's absolutely no way. My brother also ends up telling me how this girl is intimidated by me. And I honestly had absolutely no idea why, because I never really spoke to her. Yes, I have a resting face, but I am the sweetest person you'll ever meet. So once I found that information out, I knew right away that I had to fight for my brother, because he is my brother. He's my best friend. I love him with all my heart, and I do not want to see him hurt because there's this girl controlling him and telling him to do certain things, especially towards me. Like, I'm your sister. As days go on, I just continue to find out more information about her, and it's not good information, and I just knew that I needed to get my brother away from this girl. Tell me why. I came across this message that she sent to my brother and said, you either have to choose between me or your sister. And I was like, this bitch got me so fucked. I know you are not about to make my brother choose between his own sister and you. When I seen that text message, that was the icing on the cake. That was it for me. And the first thing that came to mind was, I'm gonna fight this girl when I see her. So I told my brother, I was like, next time she comes and she's in front of my face, I'm gonna either confront her, I'm gonna fight her. I'm not even joking at this point. At this point, I'm assuming my brother tells her what I said, and I remember she stopped coming over for months. It was for months, maybe even a year. And if she was at the house, it's when I wasn't at the house. So at this point, she was just trying to avoid all form of contact with me because, one, she was paranoid and I apparently intimidated her. This girl was nowhere to be found anymore. My brother and her broke up, so I never got the chance to confront her or fight her. So now I have a new sister-in-law and I adore her so much, and I am just so grateful that I fought for my brother, because this new girl is, I love her so much and I don't see it with anybody else.
Well, I'm glad to hear that you like your brother's new wife. His wife. Listen, I've heard the you're intimidating thing too. Like, I've heard it from, other women. I've heard it from like dudes. I've heard it a lot as well. But like, I feel like that's just kind of in people's head a lot of the time. Like, if you choose to not have any conversations with anyone, why do you assume that they're a bad person and intimidating? Why do you assume that? Don't assume. For agreements. Don't ever assume. I just don't get why she was like, choose me or your sister if like you've barely ever spoken to her. You've never been like overtly rude to this person. Like, I would understand that if maybe you had been really difficult with regards to their relationship, like you've been like mean to her or something. But yeah, that's a no from me. That's a no. It's a big fat no. My parents taught me that when a visitor comes, I say hi, but only if I'm aware. I disagree. I think that like, yes, you say hi if you're in the same room, etc., etc. But if you go to somebody's house, you should say hello. Everybody should just say fucking hello. Whoever does it first, like, let's not be petty about it. Clearly she's avoiding you and not saying hi on purpose. Maybe you're avoiding her. I don't know. Everybody gotta say hi, especially when you're in somebody else's house. They've invited you somewhere. Go say hi. And also, to be fair, if somebody's blocking me on social media and I'm aware of it, no, I'm not saying hi to you. Absolutely not. I'm not saying hi to you. You blocked me? Okay, well, I block you in real life. You, I don't care.
My ex-husband secretly moved into my apartment without me ever really knowing about it. Alec and I had been dating for about 4 months. I had been living at my aunt's house, and he supposedly had a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house. I had been there many, many times. I ended up getting my own job, and I ended up renting an apartment, just a very small 700 square foot apartment. That my job was located in another city that was about an 1.5 to 2 hour drive one way. I asked Alec to walk my dog at night because his house was less than 5 minutes from my apartment. So I gave him the key, he would walk the dog, and sometimes he would wait there for me to come home from work. One night, about 2 or 3 weeks after I had gotten this apartment, I came home and his TV was mounted on my wall. And I thought, that's really odd. And I look around and his Xbox is set up, all of his video games are set up, and I'm kind of like searching around because he's out walking the dog and I've just gotten home from work. And I look under the bed. Under my bed are trash bags full of clothes. Just like the whole queen size bed is stuffed with trash bags of clothes under it.
If there's anything that I've learned, be careful about giving people the combo or the key to your place. They will move in and make themselves right at home. They'll be borrowing your shit. They'll be cooking in your kitchen, taking baths and showers. And then they don't clean up.
So I confronted him and I said, why are your things in my apartment? Why is your TV mounted on my wall? Why are there garbage bags full of your clothes under my bed? And he said, I thought that it would make sense if I moved into your apartment since I walk your dog every night.
Oh, we didn't discuss this at all?
And I sat there and I go, but you have your own house. You have a 3-bedroom house, right? And he goes, yeah, yes I do. And me being a 19-year-old, I thought a 25-year-old could totally afford a house in SeaTac, Washington that was a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house with a big backyard, about a $600,000 to $700,000 house at the time in 2015. Come to find out, that was all a lie, and the ride of how I found that out was absolutely insane.
Bestie, he didn't have a house. He didn't have a house. But you did. You did. It's the mounting the TV for me. It's like, are we like just making holes in walls? Oh, I thought it would be a great idea if I just moved in without telling you.
I ended up getting pregnant I want to say less than like 2 months later. And that's when I found out whose house it actually was. Because I asked him, I said, well, wouldn't it make sense for us to move into your house? You have a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. We're having a baby. It makes sense to live there and not in my 700 square foot apartment.
Okay, so just so everybody was clear, this is someone that she was dating. This was not an ex at the time. They were dating and he just moved right on in without talking to her. He sounds homeless!
With a dog. Like, that doesn't make any sense, right? And he goes, about that. That house isn't mine. Excuse me? I've been to this house like 50 times.
Oh, you've done this before.
50 times. Inside of it, I don't even know who owns it. Turns out it's his aunt and uncle's house that he's been house sitting at the summer because they were down in California. The reason that he moved his stuff into my house was because he actually had been renting a room out of a house, and his roommates had kicked him out of that house for not paying rent. And when they kicked him out, he took all the stuff that was in that room and came and dumped it at my apartment and tried to be like, oh, I just thought it would make sense to be here since I gotta walk your dog. Genuinely wish I was making this stuff up.
He's a little scam artist. Love people that like leech on to other people because they don't have like any money. They can't pay rent, especially in relationships. You got yourself a little scam artist, honey. I'm glad to know that he's your ex. In fact, I'm glad to know that all of these people are in your pasts where they belong.
Subscribe.